Howdy y'all, you got the Bulldog on the channel. We got a '09 Corolla here. It's been to another shop. They started to diagnose it, but it quickly went beyond what they could do because they threw a part at it and it didn't fix it, so they were done. They took the new part back off and took it back, which that's fine. But it got down here to us. When I went out there to start it, I knew it was a mechanical problem because it didn't start like it had an electrical misfire or anything like that. It started like it had mechanical issues. It cranked, and it cranked really smooth, which is bad. And then it started to lope a little bit. And then it started to hit on one cylinder. And then it started to hit on two cylinders. And then it started, and then the third cylinder kicked in, and then it ran? Question mark? I drove it around back. Now we're waiting on parts. So everybody's dropped the ball on parts on us, and we forgot to kick it a couple times. Anyway, we're waiting, and I'm gonna look for something to close out the week. Got a couple hours left. I can dive into this and get it checked out real quick. All this high dollar equipment that we got, can you do it the old way? Yes, you can do it the old way. Can you do it quicker the new way? Yes, you can do it quicker the new way. I didn't even break out the leak down tester. I told them I was going to do a compression test and a leak down test. Well, I didn't even get to that point because I did it the old fashioned way. I unplugged coils to see which cylinder it was instead of plugging in the computer, which we have to charge for. What I did here is I just unplugged the coils. I found which one was missing. I pulled that plug out. I unplugged the other coils. Compression test, 20 pounds. Ew. My boss pulled off the oil cap while it was running, and it wasn't puffing, but it had a pretty darn good amount of air coming out of the crankcase, and it was pretty even. So we knew we probably don't have a hole in a piston. I could hear puffing inside while it ran, but anyway. We went and got the bore scope and dropped it down in the hole. And it's really difficult to see because of the light, but look at that. Well, I'm still trying to turn. Yeah, that turned the light clear off. The lights glare so badly on these. But you can see a spot. There you see cross hatches. And you rotate it a little bit, and there is a blank spot right there. And it goes up and down. You rotate it a little bit, and there's cross hatches. Now there is some vertical scarring elsewhere around here. If I can rotate this around, there's some vertical scarring. A big one right there. Rotate it around, more vertical scarring, light vertical scarring. That is worrisome, but it's not, that you wouldn't condemn the motor for that. You can still see crosshatch, but you keep going. There's some more heavy vertical scarring. I'm not going to break out the leak down tester, no need to. Motor shop. If you got a broken ring or something along those lines that has scarred up the cylinder wall from it going up and down. It had a squeak when I started it. That changed my game plan about the leak down test and all that. So we're going to give him the bad news. He kind of already knew what we're talking about just from interviewing the customer, finding out what was done before and how it ran. You can get pretty darn close with an interview. You have to put your hands on it to know. Now we know. So I'm going to do a little bit more documentation, and so we can have something to show the customer. I'm going to put it back together and take it back out and see if he wants to take it out behind the barn. One thing we did do I did the compression test to it, saw it had 20 pounds, took it out and squirted some oil down in that hole. That's why you saw a lot of oil on the cylinder walls. But squirted some oil down in that hole, did a compression test again. The compression came up. It more than doubled, 50 pounds. So, you know, that told us pretty definitively. I wasn't going to bother with a leak down test and have to charge for that too. Just stuck the camera down in there and took a look. There it is. Now, this customer was not interested in fixing this car if it was going to be the motor. It's a 2009. I mean, it's kind of new to be condemning it. I don't know how it mechanically sound it is elsewhere, but you know how you can look at a car and kind of tell something about their life? Well, I can pretty much figure this guy or his neighbor has goats, because that's what the paint looks like everywhere. 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 I had goats. Fortunately, all my stuff was old and junk, and they didn't do that to it. Every once in a while, I miss the goats. Then I slap myself, and I come back to my senses. I just got off the phone with a customer, and he was asking, you know, what do you think it might be worth to fix? And I said, well, if it's just the motor, you know, the rest of the car mechanically sound, then yeah, it'd be worth fixing if you just want a runaround car. But I see you've got goats. He started laughing. He says, how did you know? But no, he's gonna scrap it out. So, but he was happy to not be throwing good money after bad, and that's why we want to check them out before we start throwing money at them. Is, you know, it might be a serious problem, and sometimes you can get pretty close to it without putting a hand on it, but you still have to complete the diagnostic. Like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share it all around. We'll talk to you later.